Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of this beautiful community, and it is always a privilege to be able to facilitate these meetings. One of the unique things that we do in the Spokane Sangha is because we have so many Buddhist practitioners, we endeavor to bring and broaden the applicability of Buddhist practices, philosophies, perspectives, not only in the scope of recovery, but really the much broader application of one's whole life. Because we know from the contemporary understanding of substance use disorders, there are many, many reasons, there are many conditions why we use and then eventually misuse substances. So the Buddhist practice really helps us get at those other conditions, both directly and indirectly. And I am very devoted to that. I really want these practices to allow people to really look at the overall wonderment of your own life. It's one thing to quit drinking or stop using drugs, and that's great. But what happens when we have a craving? What happens when we can't seem to get enough sugar? What happens when we're interacting with a loved one and our communication is failing? So there are so many things that define our complex lives because we are complex beings. So we have this precious Dharma, one of the jewels. And we have the Buddha as an example of someone who was able to see the causes and conditions of his own life, and by extension, the causes and conditions of everybody. And then we have the Sangha as the third jewel, this beautiful community of consciousness, of light, of inspirations, people who are wanting to look at their negative habit energy, wanting to understand it and shift it, people who are trusting us to hold their vulnerability, are trusting us to create a space that is full of compassion and joy, love and understanding, a community of people filled with wisdom and insight. And here we are beginning our practice today. For anybody who's joining us for the first time today, an extra warm welcome, and what an auspicious day to be here. Today is the summary of a month-long exploration on a very, very intimate and difficult theme: trust and betrayal. So with that, I'd like to invite you all to find a posture in the body that feels noble. In fact, for our practice today, if it's available to you, allow your posture to be active rather than laying down. Be active today in your stillness, which sounds kind of like an oxymoron. We're still and active at the same time, and let me tell you what I mean by that. If, however, this active stillness is not available to you and you are in a place where you need to rest, please invite that to be perfect. This is your body and your practice. Trust your own wisdom and your knowing. If you are able to engage some active stillness, find in the body a posture where you're sitting in such a way that the spine is straight, the belly is soft, the eyes are closed or at least enjoying a downward gaze enough to minimize any visual distraction. The hands are in a position of grounding. Palms are on your thighs or knees. Hands are in a position of receiving, your palms are up. Or in the traditional asana, the traditional posture, the right hand is in the left palm, kind of like this, and the thumbs are touching. So you have this posture, and your hands are resting at the level of your navel. This is the posture of integration. Bring your full awareness to your body. And if it's a comfortable anchor point, notice your breath. Breathe in and out. Notice if there's any tension in your body, and see if using the vehicle of breath as a gentle companion, you can address that tension and offer the body a little bit of ease. I often carry tension in my jaw, my neck and shoulders, and my gut. It helps me to open my mouth a little bit. It helps me to roll my shoulders and wiggle a little bit in my neck and shoulders to relax. And then it helps me to take a deep breath in my belly to just relax. But I'm not relaxing my belly so much that I slouch. That's when I stay engaged enough to be in this noble receptive posture, confident, empowered, but relaxed. I'd like to remind everybody of the mantra that we have been bringing forward all month. And it is a practice that is deeply personal to me. And I call it just like me. Just like me, other people suffer. And just like me, they don't want to. They want to have ease and peace and joy and happiness and friendship and bubble gum. Just like me, people want to be able to trust other people, situations, life. Just like me, people have felt betrayed. Just like me, other people want to be considered trustworthy. And just like me, people have engaged in deceit, negatively affecting trustworthiness. Just like me, people have the capacity to be honest. And just like me, people have the capacity to omit details of their story for reasons based on wisdom, discernment, self-protection, and scarcity. Just like me, people are knowing. They're smart and wise, adaptable and resilient. Just like me, people are not knowing, uncertain, insecure, controlling, anxious. just like me. People want to have fun in their lives. They want to enjoy this precious human life. They want to be lighthearted. They want to be happy and content. And just like me, people are fearful. I have just shared with you all of the 4 weeks of sub-themes that we have been exploring this month, falling under the theme of trust and betrayal, and there are dozens and dozens more. And I have prefaced each of these ideas and concepts intentionally with the mantra just like me, because I want to remind myself and each of you that we are so much more alike than we are different. And when I catch myself blaming someone for being betraying, I sometimes conveniently forget all the ways that I too have engaged in that same unskillful pattern of behavior. And if I don't want to be betrayed, then I have to up my game on cultivating the conditions of trustworthiness, honesty, knowing and not knowing, fun. I have to understand how these qualities and concepts live in me and model my life, live my life from that place, diminishing the need and the experiences of betrayal, omission, fear. I want you all to know that it is a radical thing what we're doing and what we're endeavoring and aspiring to do. Most people are just living their lives from one reactive state to the next, blaming, projecting, expecting, feeling all of that emotion and never once turning their attention on themselves and asking, what's going on for me? Wow, would you look at this? What's all this? Can I work with it well enough so that I stop acting and reacting in a way that causes harm, that adds to the negativity, that nurtures the seeds of negativity? And can I instead shift my actions, i.e., shift my karma, so I begin cultivating the seeds of understanding? People are trustworthy and they have the capacity to betray. People are knowing and they don't know everything, and in that not knowing they get anxious and insecure and self-protecting. In that not knowing state, people lie. By remembering that we are all in this human soup together, we can create a little bit of distance from the actions, our actions and the actions of others. And the reason why we create that space is because we're neutralizing it. We're not that different from everyone else. But in order to see clearly, we have to extract ourselves a little bit to create some space to look deeply. We're looking deeply and trying to shift our actions and our reactivity for one reason only, and that is to minimize suffering in ourselves and by extension, one another. Amazing, radical. Let's quickly put it in the context of substance misuse, habit energy. When we engage in habit energy, negative habit energy, looking at it again just neutrally, no judgment regarding our actions. When we engage in negative habit energy, we lose our capacity to be skillful. We limit our capacity to be discerning, which means we become reactive, we lie, we self-protect, we deny, we omit. We're governed by feelings of shame and guilt, which have a tendency to distort and obscure the reality. And in all of that, we break down connection with each other and with ourselves. In a word, we suffer. When we stop misusing substances, when we shift our relationship to our habit energy, when we, even if we're not stopping, even if we haven't abstained entirely, but we cultivate some curiosity about, why am I doing this? Am I bored? Am I sad? Do I not know? Even that shifts our reactivity and our thought process and maybe even our mood. And that is enormous in the ways we can relate to other people. One last thought. Just like me, I have been conditioned to believe and even pursue this nonsensical notion of perfection. That to be a trustworthy person is to be all trusting and to never have any cause for betrayal. It is a nonsensical endeavor because that is not what makes a whole human being. A whole human being is a complex combination of pairs of opposites. And what we are trying to do with spiritual practices is deepen our understanding of being human and to lean toward those aspects and qualities that reduce suffering in whatever way we can. So we are not, in the Buddhist practice, seeking perfection. Just like me, we practice to practice. We make mistakes and practice. We screw it up and practice. We hurt someone's feelings and practice. We lay down a thick boundary and our loved one doesn't like it. We practice. We see success in others and feel a little envy. We practice. We feel a craving and a temptation and feel nervous, and we practice. Practice makes practice, friends. And may your practice alleviate suffering, big and small. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your presence. It adds beauty and wonder and love in ways you will never know. Let's go ahead and end our practice with a dedication of merit. Friends, today we were 55 people gathered here today in a world of 7 billion people. Millions and millions of people who don't have access to this practice. And just thinking about how your practice has changed you and transformed you, and then that transforms how you stand in line at the grocery store, and that transforms how other people react to their families, their pets, their gardens. So at some point in your practice, the ripple effect, the positive effects, you have no way to measure it. But it doesn't matter. And if it does matter, would you look at that? Why does it matter? Praise, validation, another opportunity to practice. In my mind, it doesn't matter, because as long as I'm not suffering in my actions, then I know that my actions are pure. And the fact that I'm not suffering is all that matters to me. The fact that I might bring a smile and a little bit of joy is a bonus. It's the cherry on top. Let's endeavor to top our lives with more cherries, to bring more joy, to alleviate suffering. Why not? For thousands of years, there's been enough hostility and aggression, confusion and bewilderment. You are representative of the light, of the limitless qualities of kindness and compassion, joy and freedom. May these qualities guide you and continue to heal you, and may you have less suffering in your day, more contentment, ease, and clarity. This is your precious human life. Live it. Live it well. Thank you for your practice, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.